All right, everyone. Welcome to Honest Hour. We are here. We are here on Monday night this week because we got a special guest, Marc Dimes. Marcus Henderson. I go back with this brother. We used to ball in Amber Fields together. Like now, he was definitely one of the most renowned players that I seen. Um, with my own eyes. If I had to, say you reminded me a lot of Allen Iverson. Um, you know, just the quick movements, the sudden movements, and just everything that you were able to do on a basketball court, almost said field, on a basketball court, and you've had great success, including winning state championships and still playing and winning championships now. First and foremost, thank you for coming on the show, taking time out of your schedule. But how you been, my brother?
Well, first off, appreciate you for having me. And anytime, bro, you know what it is. You like family, so if I can make it happen, I'll definitely make it happen. But other than that, yeah, I'm good, bro. Just been, being a grown man, working, and then obviously still trying to find time to do what I love, and obviously that's play basketball. So life is good, man. I can't complain.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we just gonna get right into it. I'd seen something earlier when I was preparing. It said 202 born, 845 raised.
Yes,
So
sir.
where were you actually born then?
So what most people don't know about me is I was born in Washington D.C.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's where the 202 made comes in. 202 made, but 845 raised.
Okay. So how long did you live in DC before, and then how did you end up in Newburgh?
Yeah, so basically, make a long story short, my mother and father they both was in the military. They both was in the army. So I'm a military baby. I was born in Walter Reed Hospital, military hospital in Washington D.C.
Okay.
Um, I was back and forth in D.C. I was back and forth in D.C. and Maryland area from birth all the way to about the age of 5, and then when I turned 5. I moved to the 845 for good, and then I never left. But I didn't move to Newburgh till I was 8. I originally moved to Nyack, Rockland County, because all my family is from Nyack. So I moved there. But I also lived in Queens too when I was 3 years old. But yeah, but when I turned 8, that's when I moved to Newburgh. But I moved to the 845 for good in 96 or 97. And that was
Okay.
Nyack, though, Rockland County.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. So 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 you probably do you recall much about Rockland?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Rockland, I mean, people from Newburgh don't like when I say this, but Rockland is like home for me, man. That's where all my family is. That's where everything started for me. I first picked up a basketball, I first picked up a football, I first picked up a baseball, everything in Rockland. So Rockland is always home. Like I said, that's where all my family is. My mother was born and raised in Nyack.
Yeah.
Um, all my cousins, my uncles, aunts, all born and raised in Nyack. Even my brother, born and raised in Nyack. My brother didn't move to Newark till he was 18 because he has me by 10 years. So I
Yeah.
was 8, he was 18. But everybody born and raised in Nyack except for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So growing
Yeah.
up that way, so was your like you moved did you move around a lot before you finally moved to the 845, and your brother had you by 10 years. What was it like as a family growing up, like your family, like your parents and your siblings and stuff?
Yeah. So to answer your first question, I moved around a lot. I didn't start moving around a lot probably so I moved to the 845, honestly. I moved around a lot my whole life though to be exact. Like my mom was never in one place. Like we was always, even when I moved to Newburgh. I moved to Newburgh, she bought a house. We was there for 3 years. I moved again, moved again. Like we moved around a lot. But
Yeah.
but yeah, and then with my brother growing up it was basically my mother, myself, and my brother. It was just us three. And obviously, if my mom had a boyfriend or something like that, they would be around. But other than that, it was just us three. My
Yeah.
mother was a single parent to us too.
Shout out to moms. I've
Definitely.
seen a lot of pictures of you and her. Obviously she's always supported whatever you do. You
Yeah.
know, so you said that in Rockland, it was the first time you picked up any sports. Um, and we've had a conversation, but we know basketball is your forte. Like
Right.
that's you dabble in other sports, but basketball is you. So, what was your first exposure to basketball? Whether it be picking up the ball or watching it on TV, or maybe a player you seen. What was your very first exposure to the game?
So my very first exposure to the game, and this was way before I fell in love with the game. My very first exposure came in Nyack. So my brother used to always play basketball. He used to play basketball with his friends and stuff growing up. So they had the YMCA in Nyack. So my brother used to go play at the YMCA, and then they had this park, South Nyack Park. He used to play in South Nyack Park outside as well. So when I was like 5, 6 years old, I used to, my mom be at work or somewhere, and he would just I'll tag along with him, and he'd just take me, and I'd just be sitting there watching him play basketball.
Yeah.
That's when I first like really got a taste of basketball. That's when I first was around the game that I can remember.
And how old were you around that time?
I was about five. I was 5 or 6, most like 5. I want to say 5.
And when did you like? Okay, it's kind of a hard question to ask because I'm figuring how I want to ask it. So, all right, let's go here. When did you start playing basketball? Like you start, or did you start watching it after that point?
So I didn't start watching or playing basketball until around the same time. I started playing basketball first. Actually, I started playing basketball when I was 8 years old. Like all the time. I was 8 years old when I lived in Spring Valley.
Yeah.
This was I was in second grade, so the 99-2000 school year. That's when I started playing basketball a lot with my friends in Spring Valley. And basically they were it's funny to say they were women, they were girls. You
All
had
right.
her name was Asia, her little sister Christine, and then I had another neighbor across the street from me. Her name was Jennifer, I believe. And like I used to always be with them. It was weird because that was what I was. That's who I was around. So
Yeah.
I used to just be at Asia's house up the street, just playing basketball. Me and Asia always playing basketball. We used to play basketball with a soccer ball, literally, and we used to always play basketball. That's all we did was just play basketball. And then when I moved to Newburgh, July 8th, I remember the day, July 8th, 2000. When I moved to Newburgh, I was always just home bored, bro. Like I mean, I was bored. I didn't have no friends, no nothing. So I was just bored. My mom went to Walmart and bought me a basketball hoop. We put it together. I was always in the backyard just hooping by myself. And then when I turned 9, that's when I got exposed to like after school programs with like Frazier and things like that. And
Okay.
then from then, that's when the love actually came. Once I got in after school programs and just being around people in Newburgh just playing basketball. And that when I turned 9 years old, that's when I fell in love with the game. I fell in love with Allen Iverson. That's when it all started for me. So this was I want to say 2000, 2001, when I was in third grade.
Okay. Okay. And that love carried it on. So from that point on, when did you start like how did it start, you started like playing on teams? Because the way I see it is to have the level that you play at and the way that you play the game that's not something that you just get, right? That's something you work for. That's something that you work hard to accomplish to be able to say, okay, well, I want to play basketball and I want to play it well. So, how did you get to that level? Or how did you start? What was the process to start and to get there? And, obviously you got to high school, you were playing, but where did you start playing around like on other teams with other kids your age and things of that nature.
Yeah, so I played in my first league in 2001.
Okay.
I want to say it was the spring of 2001. It was Frazier's Run and Shoot League. Um, that was at the Mount. Everybody from Newburgh know what the Mount is. It's not Mount St. Mary's College. It's actually St. Mary's Church, but we call it the Mount.
Yeah.
Um, but that's where it all started for me playing on teams. My first league. And then after that, I played in a league later on that year at Glen Hines. Yeah, I was in fourth grade now, but this was the fall fourth grade, so this is still 2001. And then I remember I had broke my thumb, and then I had missed the whole like season at Glen Hines. But
Oh,
yeah, this was everything happened in 2001 for me when I first started playing on teams and playing in my first leagues, and then from there, just I just never stopped.
wow. So you just really just kind of just took it on, and then so these leagues were they just like kind of like are these leagues kind of compared to like Zion Lions and things of or leagues of that nature?
Yeah, so it's all like the same stuff. So you know how design lines they have that I know of. It's three leagues. You got the fall league, you got winter chill, and you got summer sizzler. That's how it was when I grew up.
Right.
When I first started playing with design lines, like in the little leagues, it was only winter chill and summer sizzler.
Okay.
But Coach Harrell, he ended up adding a fall league into the mix. So then that's when the fall league came. But yeah, they all like similar. It's all little leagues that just in the area to keep kids busy, keep them active, and just doing something. Um, it's just it was a good environment, good atmosphere, and shout out to Coach Harrell, shout out to Glenn Hines, and shout out to Frazier. Frazier don't get enough credit. He don't. Nobody talks about him, but shout out to Frazier because not for nothing, Frazier was the one that actually teach me the fundamentals of the game. So shout out to Frazier. I just want to give him his flowers. But yeah, they all had the leagues and stuff like that, and I believe I played in Zion Lions. I didn't even play in Zion Lions leagues until Summer Sizzler. This was 2002. Yeah, 2002. That was my first time playing in Summer Sizzler.
Wow.
Yeah,
And and then transition. So learning, and basketball is a game of fundamentals.
absolutely.
If you know the fundamentals, you can play just knowing them if you choose. Will you be great? Maybe. Tim Duncan was Mr. Fundamental. And he, in my eyes, personally, greatest
Mhm.
power forward, right?
That's an argument. That's a good argument to make.
You
Yeah,
know, for me, I base that on just what I've seen, right? It's a
right.
little hard to base it off other things. We can go back in history and look, but if he's not your top power forward, that's cool, but he's definitely in that top tier.
Definitely.
So learning the fundamentals for you, what does that consist of? Learning the fundamentals.
Yeah, so the fundamentals of basketball, people to be able to do all these to be able to do all these crossovers and behind the back, all these crazy and one mixtape moves, you gotta learn the fundamentals first. So my what I consider fundamentals is pass, dribble, shoot on the offensive end. And then on the defensive end, you just learn how to slide your feet, you learn how to be in a proper stance and a defensive stance, and then also the other stuff, learn how to box out, learn how to just box out and things like that. That's all fundamentals. So that's what I consider fundamentals.
Absolutely. So we're talking about players just now. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever tuned into this show, but I have a game that everyone hates called Honest Picks.
Nah, I never, and to be honest, I never tune into none of your shows. I see you doing your thing. It's just my schedule. I'm always working, and then if I'm not working, I'm a busy person, man.
That's all good.
I'm only put it this way. I'm on the road 14 hours a day. The other 10, I'm home sleeping and working out and taking a shower, obviously. So I don't really
Yeah.
have time for my own self.
Listen, I know the feeling. When I have to drive, it's the same thing. Just me in the road. 12,
Yeah,
14 hours. So I know how it goes.
right.
Pretty
But yeah,
much,
I'm interested in the game. What's this game?
game is kind of like, I'm going to give you two players and
Hmm.
you tell me based on personal preference which one you like more than the other. It's a little hard. Some of them are kind of gray. Some of them are hard to compare. This was a very easy one because I didn't even really have to do research. I kind of just went with it.
Got you.
So I'm going to start with a simple one. Well, maybe simple to me, maybe not for everyone else. Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown?
Who's better?
Like, which one do you like better? There's really no rules to it. Just
Whoa.
personal preference for you. Who do you like better as a player?
Ooh. You need an explanation or just who I like better as a
If you
player?
want to give one, that's perfectly fine.
All right. So I like me personally is to answer your question, I like Jason Tatum better.
Okay.
Um, but now to give Jalen Brown his flowers, Jalen Brown is a more complete player, and the reason I say that is because he plays defense. He's a better defender than Jason Tatum. They're both athletic. They're both professionals. They're both max players, obviously. But there's a reason why Jalen Brown was the Finals MVP and Jason Tatum wasn't. Jason Tatum is a overall better scorer. He might be a better offensive threat, but just all around, they're both athletic. They both could shoot. They both could dribble. They both solid playmakers. But Jalen Brown, he's just a better defender. And if he's not a better defender, at least he what's the word I want to use? He competes better on the defensive end.
Oh yeah,
But to answer your question though, I like Jason Tatum better.
Jason Tatum. Okay, that's I can give you that. This one seems one sided, but for someone who's
Yeah.
fundamentally sound by you, I thought it might not be. Russell Westbrook or Damian Lillard?
Who I prefer. That's harder than I thought. Man, I'm gonna take Russ.
Okay, okay. Steve Nash or John Stockton?
See, it's rough because they played in different eras,
Yeah, that's why
but
it's a little gray. Like I said, some of these
yeah, I'm gonna go with. Jeez, I'm gonna go with John Stockton.
Stockton, all-time assist leader and all-time steals leader.
Right,
Can't go wrong with that.
can't
30
go wrong with that. And both of them don't have no ring.
sad.
And John Stockton went to the finals twice. And it was a year John Stockton averaged 14.9 assists per game. I believe that was in 94, if I'm correct. But I mean, he did have Karl Malone to help him out a lot with these assists, but I'm going with John Stockton. No disrespect to Steve Nash.
Not at all. Kyrie Irving or Paul George?
When you said Kyrie, I thought you was going to say Steph. Damn, this is hard. Oh, man. Yo, I love both of them. But to answer your question, I got to go with Paul George just because of his size.
Okay, okay. Kawhi Leonard or James Harden?
I mean, Kawhi can't stay healthy, man. If they both could stay healthy, like if they just both healthy, both of them healthy, I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
Kawhi.
All right, all right. Uh, Giannis or the Joker?
Oh, Joker,
Chris Paul or the Glove? Gary Payton?
Chris Paul,
Ray Allen or Clay Thompson?
Ray Allen.
Kevin Durant or Carmelo?
Ooh, that's rough, bro. Ooh, oh shit. Oh, I don't know if I could curse on here, but dang.
You, but if you can't pick, you can say
No,
both.
I'm a pick. I'm a pick for you. This is a question where you need to take a shot for it and be like, damn, this was hard. I need a drink after this question because
Little drink champs action.
they're both terrified. Like they're both great scorers. So I'm gonna go with KD though.
Okay. Kevin Garnett or Charles Barkley?
People don't want to give Chuck his credit. Charles Barkley was a beast. He was an animal. But I'm gonna go with Kevin Garnett.
Okay, okay. David Robinson or Hakeem Olajuwon?
Hakeem the Dream. All day, every day.
Oscar Robinson or Steph Curry?
See, this is where whoever's watching and whoever who knows me, people know I'm not a fan of Steph Curry, as great as he is.
Yeah.
And this is not me being biased or whatever. But you know what? I'm not even gonna say Oscar Robertson. I'm gonna take Steph, and the reason why I take Steph is because he's playing in an era where everybody is just better at the guard position than when Oscar Robertson played. No disrespect to Oscar, I'm gonna go with Steph.
Okay. Vince Carter or T Mac?
I prefer Vince, but T Mac was the better player.
All right. Okay. Jason Kidd or Tony Parker?
J Kidd,
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Shaq or Tim Duncan?
yo, yo, that's I it's to me it's the same. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Tim Duncan. I'm gonna take 5 rings over 4. Um,
Okay.
I'm gonna take. They both had 3 Finals MVPs. I'm gonna take 2 MVPs over one. I'm I'm taking Tim Duncan.
Okay. Okay. It's a fair statement.
Just off a resume, I'm gonna take in accolades. I'm gonna take Tim Duncan. But to me, it's the same. Like same.
Yeah, they're like the same player.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
different players, but I like them both the same. Like so,
Oh,
it's
I got
hard.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
All right. Magic or Larry?
yo, Magic Johnson. You gotta remember what people don't understand when people talk about the debates about the greatest point guard of all time. They want to say Steph. Listen, man, no disrespect to nobody, but Magic Johnson, he he has 5 rings. He been to the finals 9 times. He's 5-4 in the finals. He has 3 MVPs. He has 3 Finals MVPs. Rookie of the year. No, Larry Bird got that Rookie of the Year, but he did all this in 12 years. From 1979 80 season to the 90-91 season. And then
And
it's, what you
and
gonna say?
I was gonna say, and what people don't realize, and I didn't know this until I watched that documentary they had on Apple TV, was basketball was pre-taped before he came into the league.
Yes, it was.
Like he made basketball all the, whoops and all the stuff.
Mhm.
He made it cool.
Yeah, he
Like
did.
people don't know. Like I said, I didn't know that like at all. But I'm like,
Yeah, nah, he definitely did. He definitely did. So Magic and Larry Bird, they both did. Because when Converse came, them two was like them two was neck and neck. And not to say anything about race or anything like this, but you had one black man and you had one Caucasian man, and it goes to show that both you could be talented no matter what your race is. So those shout out to those two though, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson for elevating the game, helping to make what the game is today and all this. They started it.
okay, okay,
But
absolutely.
I'm
All
but I'm taking Magic. I'm taking Magic just because he did all this in 12 years. I'm gonna say 13 because he came back in the 94-95 season.
Okay. Well, I got some. I haven't figured out how to get my comments over here yet, so I got it open here. My Facebook. My boy
Okay.
Joey Branch is saying there's no wrong answer. Have no fear,
Yo,
Match is here.
my my boy show.
And he said dealing with Melo was tough. Melo only needs one dribble. Yeah, he ain't lying.
Nah, but KD don't need no dribbles either. I mean, it's with that. It's no right or wrong answer with them two. It's hard. I mean, but the reason I say KD. KD might be the most talented scorer I've ever seen. No disrespect to Mike, Kobe, nobody. KD is 6'10", 6'11". dribbling the ball like Kyrie, shooting the ball like Steph. Like you can't guard that, bro.
Yeah,
He's agile. He moves like a guard. Like
he's
you
just
can't guard that.
and he can just shoot over anybody. Like
Yes, and he's skilled. He's so skilled. Like you never seen nothing like it.
absolutely, absolutely. Uh, Kareem or Wilt?
Resume, Kareem, but I'm gonna go with I'm gonna just go with Wilt. And I like I've never seen Wilt, but I'm gonna just go with Wilt.
All right, Joey, thanks for tapping in, bro. We got a link soon, man. He just wrote, put a comment. Oh,
Yeah, I did a podcast with him too.
yeah, yeah. We've been trying to link. We gotta make it happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Then, oh, what we got here? Oh, all right. I have a feeling I know what you're gonna say, but I gotta ask: D Wade or AI?
D Wade.
Really?
Yeah.
And is that just a resume answer, or is that just your true like you know?
So me, you know me, I'm a basketball head. I love basketball, and I'm big on being realistic.
Yeah.
Love AI. Wait, oh, who I like better? That's the question, technically.
Yes.
Oh, AI. AI. I like AI way better. AI. But if you ask me AI with anybody, I'm gonna say AI or who I prefer. But if you D Wade is the better player. Not even off a resume. He's just better.
So personal AI, obviously.
Yeah.
Basketball, D Wade.
Yes. I got sidetracked it, like I got into the mindset of who I would prefer
You good, man?
over who's better.
You
I
good? So now for this last one, I want you to pick the answer,
already know the question. It's gonna be Michael LeBron, I feel like.
and I want the answer, and I want to know why. I actually get
Uh
it's three people, so
Mike
actually,
Kobe LeBron. I think I know the
I just want you to order them
Uh-huh.
and why. Mike, Kobe, and LeBron is the final answer, the final question.
All right.
He said, "I already know where it's going."
I had a feeling I had because when you said the last question. All right. So for me personally, this is rough. Cause you can make a case for all three of them.
Absolutely.
I might be a little biased, but I'm gonna go Braun number one. I'm gonna explain everything after. Braun
No
one,
worries, go ahead.
Braun one, Kobe two, Mike three. And all right, Braun number one because out of those three, the most skilled player is Kobe. If we talking skill for skill, I'm going Kobe, Mike, Braun. But for me, I like Braun better than all of them because Braun, he's all around. He's 6'8", 6'9", 240, 250, just as athletic as anyone. He has a great skill set as far as he could pass, he could dribble, he could shoot, he could defend when he wants to. Like people knock him saying, "Oh, he's not a great shooter. He doesn't have a great handle." Well, guess what? You don't score 40,000 points and get 10,000 assists if you can't shoot the ball or you can't dribble the ball. He's doing something incredibly well.
Right.
So LeBron in that aspect, he's just bigger, stronger, faster than all of them, more athletic. So that's why I go with LeBron, and then his IQ is just through the roof. People like to bash him and everything, but I go with LeBron just because I just seen him. He's just a winner, and people want to say, oh, his record is 4-6 in the finals. That's irrelevant. Like that
Yeah.
you throw that out the window. Because if that's the case, Mike is 1-9 in the playoffs without Scottie Pippen.
Absolutely.
Kobe never won a ring without a solid big man. He always had Shaq and he had Gasol. But
Yeah.
so all that stuff goes out the window. But for me, it's Braun just because of his impact that he has on his team, and he can give you 30. He can give you 10 assists. Like he can do it all. Like, huh? Yeah, that's fine. Sorry,
No,
but
you good.
yeah, he could do it all. And then now Second, yeah, I said Kobe. The reason I say Kobe second is just because he copycatted Mike, but he did it against better competition at his position. Mike was going against, I mean, Joe Dumars. He was solid. He went against Reggie Miller, Clyde the Glide Drexler. Uh, he went against Mitch Richmond. He went against some good talent, but I feel like today's game is just like Kobe did it against Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, names like that. Like it's a big difference if you ask me. But Kobe just him and Mike they're both killers. Kobe had a better handle than Mike, if you ask me. Mike had a solid handle, but Kobe had that street credibility to his game. Like Kobe
Right.
played at the Rucker, he was able to he had that and one flair to him. The number 8 Kobe. People don't know
Yes.
about that. The younger generation won't know about the number 8 Kobe.
Nah.
So that's why I say Kobe over Mike. And Mike, I mean, as great as he is, I mean, he elevated the game. Shout out to Mike. But it's just who was guarding him when he was doing all this stuff. So that's why I don't have him number one. But anybody who puts him number one, I'm fine with that. I'm not mad at that at all. I can make a case for him number one. People always ask me, "Yo, who's your GOAT?" Usually, I just be like Mike.
Yeah.
But and then if I'm talking to a LeBron fan, I say LeBron. If I'm talking to a Kobe fan, I say Kobe. Like, cause I don't like to get into the debate. I'll
Yeah.
troll on Facebook because I'll be bored, but I hate getting into that debate.
Yeah. With last time we spoke, I remember you said I seen you at Fridays. A, this was like 6 years ago, or Buffalo Wild.
Yeah.
One
And
or
I
the other.
think I said Mike then too, because I always usually go with Mike. But
Yeah.
but deep down inside, my mind, I'm going with Brian.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And my thing is with LeBron, people be like, oh, he did this and he did that. But I said, who else is going to go to eight finals in a row? And that's probably never going to happen again.
Yeah,
Um,
it's rough.
he's playing at a high level to the point where it's just like the dude's still averaging 27, 8, and 7, and he's been playing for 20 years. He's been playing so long, he's playing with his son, who was born around the time that he started playing basketball. So, and it's not like he's slowing down. It's not like he's slowing down, at least not in the next year or two. You
Right.
know, After that, we'll see what happens what he decides. But right now, for what he's doing and what he's putting forth, there's no one better. There's no
Nah.
one.
You're right. And to add on to that, like I mean, you said there's no signs of him slowing down. Like, don't get it twisted. Like he doesn't jump as high as he used to be. He used to, but he's smarter now. He's smarter. He could dominate the game in a different way.
Well,
So he be different.
well, and that's just it. Like I remember, and I use Allen Iverson as an example of when he started playing different. Like the AI we seen was him crossing people up, walking over them, and looking down at them, and just really being everywhere. When he stopped doing that and doing those cuts and going to the basket, people are like, "What's wrong?" I'm like,
Hmm.
nah, nah, nah. Y'all gotta understand, he's getting older, and that's a lot of wear and tear on his knees and on his body.
Hmm.
And you can't do that stuff anymore. You have to change your game. Because after Philly, he went to Denver. He was still very effective there, but he didn't play the same style. And then he started kind of moving around. I remember Memphis in there, maybe Detroit. There was a
Yeah.
couple places. Then he went back to Philly ultimately, and it just was at that time, you know, we just had to kind of get with it. But people don't understand why players can't be the same players for the reasons they love them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because AI, I mean, he went from Philly to Denver to Detroit to Memphis back to Philly. And I want to say around 2005 ish. I want to say around 2005 ish, maybe 2004. Nah, you know what? Even before, you know what? Around his MVP year, when I now that I think about it, around 2001,
One,
that's when he started to change his game. Although he was still effective crossing people over, like doing all that stuff. If you pay, so a basketball person will understand what I'm about to say. AI played off of two. So when I mean what I mean by play off two is he plays off 2 feet, meaning like jump stop. You're not trying to go. You're not trying to get into the paint off one leg finish. Nah, AI will get to a sweet spot and play off two, and then rise above and shoot over anybody. Because you gotta remember, yeah, he was 6 foot, listed at 6 foot anyway. He had long arms. He had a 6'3" wingspan, so he had long arms. He was super athletic, so he could rise above and still shoot over people sometimes. And he had a great knack for creating space. But yeah, when he changed his game, he became more efficient. He wasn't banged up as much. And then when he got to Denver, it you noticed it more because he wasn't no longer the number one option. Although he did average more points, but he wasn't the number one option. Melo
right?
was.
Well,
And when you pay attention to that, Iverson, his field goal percentage went up from like 42, 43 to like 45, 46%. And that's all because just him just being smarter. And for him, it was a sad situation how his career ended and all that. But he still, if you ask me, in his 14 years, he still had a solid 3 years left. If you ask me, three solid good years.
right.
Had he did things differently, like mentally, he did everything he did to himself. I hate to say it, he did it to himself. The way he carried himself, the NBA just didn't like it. But had he did things differently off the court, he had another solid 3 years.
I, it sucks,
It does.
when things like that happen. But
Hmm.
we got to see a great one. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So back to the interview. Um, after you went through them leagues, when did you
Hmm.
start playing with the school? Did you start in middle school, or was it not till high school?
Yeah, so when I got to seventh grade, that's when I played modified. So I played modified North High. Um, Eighth grade, I played freshman. Ninth grade, I got kicked out of school. I was supposed to play JV that year. Maybe, who knows, maybe get moved up to varsity because I was just, I mean, I don't like to talk highly about myself. I don't like to sound cocky. I try to stay as humble as possible. Some people like it, some people hate it. But I feel like in ninth grade, I was an up and coming like next star in the area as far as at the point guard position.
Yeah.
Um, so who knows? Maybe I could have been on varsity when they went to states, got moved up. Who knows? But and then tenth grade, so ninth grade I didn't play at all. Tenth grade, that's when I played varsity. Shout out to Johnny D. He was the starter. I was his backup. We started together sometimes. So yeah, I started in seventh grade. I started playing for the school in seventh grade.
So for people who don't know or understand, because listen, anyone who plays any sport, God bless their soul,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like I hate when people say, "Oh, you're up there. They're getting paid to travel and play a game they love."
Absolutely,
Right?
but yeah, absolutely, they are absolutely. But I'll let you
But
finish.
which it's not wrong,
Mm-mm.
but they still act like there's no work that has to be put in.
Right, that part. Right.
What are some of those things as a player outside of practice, right?
Hmm.
What are some of the things that you have to do to prepare and be fit? And also, what is your eating or your nutrition or your diet have to be to kind of compensate for it?
As a basketball player or an athlete in general.
You can answer as both.
All right. So as an athlete
Is it
in
different?
general, yeah. So as an overall athlete, no, depending on what sport you play, you have to strength train no matter what. You have to strength train. That's how you prevent injuries. Strength training, stretching. That's how you prevent injuries. Depending on the sport, that's going to determine what type of workout you do. And as far as dieting goes, once again, it probably depends on the sport. Because like if you play football or something like that, you might want to be more bulky. You might have to load up on carbs a lot. You might have to just eat a lot more because you're lifting a lot heavier. You're doing different type of workouts. Baseball, I'm not too sure about, but I know just overall athletes, you have to train and you just have to stretch and you have to get your rest and everything like that and try to just eat good food that's going to digest properly to me. I mean, TMI, but you want to be able to go to the bathroom that way you know it's digesting properly and all that. But now I'm a basketball person, but to speak about basketball, to sustain a high level, you have to train. So with basketball players, most likely you don't really have to be all big and bulky. Basketball is more mobility movement. So like that's why LeBron is so effective in year about to be year 22. It's more about mobility stuff. So you got to do that. You got to make sure you stretch. You got to make sure you're flexible. It's not about lifting heavy. It's not about doing none of that. Basketball is more so just doing workouts that's going to get you stronger and help your flexibility and mobility. Mobility. I can't even talk mobility. Um, and that's how you sustain a long career. And as far as eating, basketball players they probably want to yeah you want to get some protein in your body to build muscle a little bit, but you don't want to build so much muscle where you gaining 20 pounds of muscle. Because basketball, you gotta remember, you're not like if you're playing football and you're a running back, you got to try to break tackles and you're dragging people. So you're going to have strong legs. Whereas, as far as basketball, you just have to be very flexible because that's how you prevent injuries, but also be strong in a sense. But you don't have to be all big and bulky to be strong. A lot of our strength comes from we naturally play basketball all the time, so you're gonna get strength in your legs just from running around and constantly jumping to do layups and dunk and whatever, however your style of play is. Um, but yeah, for the most part, basketball though, you just have to stretch, dynamic after, static before. Static stretching is like any stretching that involves movement. That's how
Okay.
you warm up. And then any stretching that causes a stationary, that's static. So you do that before every workout, and then yeah, you could go to practice and things like that, but you have to put the work in. You have to. Are you making not shooting 500? Are you making 500 shots a day? Are you doing a 10-minute ball handling drill every day? Are you doing game like? And when I say make 500 shots, are you making 500 game speed shots, not just catch and shoot? Are you doing stuff that's game related? That's gonna affect the game. So
Okay.
when people say, "Oh, they get paid to travel and play," absolutely. I mean, that's what they love to do, and if they don't love to do it, they're good enough at it. They worked hard enough to get there. So I'm happy for all of them. I mean, if I would have worked harder, I probably would be there too. I'm not saying I'll be making 100 million, but who knows? I could have probably got a 5 year, $15 million deal if I had I worked harder.
And you could have taken, you could have, you never know. You never
Hmm.
know what you could have done with that. Uh,
Definitely. I do know I would have never been no superstar. I've been a role player because I've had. Don't get me wrong. I've had like people tell me, and I mean like credible people. Like I'm not gonna say names, but people who I'll tell you like off the camera and all that stuff.
okay.
Names, but I've had people affiliated with the NBA, high Division 1 people tell me like you're a special talent and you could make a lot of money playing the game, but if you got to work harder, and I just I didn't listen.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think because you worked hard as it is.
Hmm.
Like it's not like and then you weren't a slouch in any aspect, but maybe they mean the tiers of work are different, right? Like it's not that you were lazy, it's just you had to maybe apply a level that you might not wanted to at that point in your life, you know?
Right.
It's hard. It's hard.
It is hard. It is
You know,
hard.
Even like I look at me doing these podcasts, like yo, it's hard balancing it and doing the clips and doing the credits and doing this and doing that and all the production. Like I spend like an hour and a half a day just dedicating time to this, because I want
Right.
to make something out of this down the road. So it's a lot in any form or fashion that you look at it.
Nah, definitely, definitely, and that's why I just whoever's watching or listening, no matter what it is you want to do in life, it's a competitive world out there. So find out what it is that you're good at and that you love, and then from master it and be the best at it that you possibly can be. I don't care if it's you want to be the best writer. You want to be the best writer, you love writing, master it, find out what it is that you like to write about, and just master that craft and be the best writer you could be. Because if you grind and you chase your dream, something you love, the money's gonna come regardless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, as I said, I was looking through and you have also been a voice in the community. I read an article, I forget the year, about you talking about them when they cut the basketball program from the school. Um Before I get into it, I just really wanted to talk about this. But what was it like for you to advocate for something like that? Being that you weren't a troubled kid, you didn't get in trouble and things of that nature, at least to my knowledge. You know what I mean?
I did
Um,
it.
a lot of times sports kept people out of trouble. It gave them like that secondary wind or that distraction to say, instead of being out there with these fools, I'm going to be in here. So what was it like to get up and kind of stand up for something that you believed in and that you knew would help kids in the future?
So what it was as far as with the basketball program, you talking about for the school?
Yes.
All right. So what it was with that program was it's not the fact that they was gonna cut the program, but so I was part of a team that was involved with a scandal and everything. And just to clear the air, people will never believe me, but they found nothing. We still have our state title. Like they found nothing. It was a bunch of he said, she said stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, we're regular kids from the inner city. So a lot of us, yeah, there's gonna be times where we might cut class or we might not go to school. Like when you're a kid from the inner city, that's what you do. We don't like I'm not saying blaming nobody's parent, but we don't know any better at 15, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. We don't know any better.
Right.
So we're just doing what we're taught in our environment, what we see. But we were all eligible to play.
Yeah.
Like we were all eligible. We all made the 90% list to play. Because when I was in school, you had to go to 90% of your classes. We all was in 90% of our classes. Now we might be late to a class or something. And if you're late to a class, it might come up as a cut and you just gotta get that cut cleared.
Yeah.
And all our cuts would come to our coach. Our coach would give us our cut slips, and we have to get it signed by a teacher. And the teacher would go back in the attendance book like, "Oh yeah, you was here that day. You was just late. Okay, it's cut cleared." But they think, "Oh, they was just getting their cut cleared, their cuts cleared." No, it didn't work like that. But to answer your question, so when that happened, the scandal, people started moving different. When I say people, meaning the higher ups, they don't want Newberg to look bad, so now they have to move different. They have to start making business decisions, so they don't look bad. So it makes it look like they're taking initiative to do what's best for the program and the kids, I should say. So I remember Miss Bunce, the assistant principal, they was trying to take her job,
Oh,
not even demote her. Like they was trying to take her job. So I went up there, and Miss Bunce and I didn't see eye to eye. She was my administrator, and it's funny because she never. I used to go to her to try to get my cuts cleared. Sometime she wouldn't clear nothing from me. I would try to send her office. I don't want to go to class. Can I send your office? No, she ain't let none of that rock. Now people want to say, "Oh, she did this for them. She did this for us. She did that." Me speaking for myself, she ain't do nothing for me in a sense of me not me being able to stay in her office and not go to school or not go to class.
Yeah,
But what she did do for me though, now that I'm 32 years old now looking back, she taught me responsibilities. She taught me that it was important to go to class. I appreciate her for not giving me all these favors. Because had she given me those favors, I would have never learned nothing.
yeah,
And I would have wanted everything handed to me. So I'm glad she did that. So shout out to her. But anyway, they was trying to take her job or whatever. And despite our differences at the time, because she didn't really do the favors for me and the things that I wanted, but obviously I know why she didn't do it now. But I just went up there and stood up for her. And I just had to let them know, like, everything I just told you. We didn't see eye to eye, but what everybody's saying, I could speak for myself. She didn't let me do this. She didn't let me do that. And she's a great person at heart, and she cares about the kids.
right.
And so I just went up there to just for her to help her save her job, advocate for her, and I used my voice because I was, excuse me, I was well known in the area, and obviously the Times Herald Record knew who I was, so I was just using my voice. That's all to help the next person that helped me. Meaning, like she helped me understand that you have to put the work in, and you can't have everything handed to you.
Mm. Paying it forward, or one hand washing the other.
Yes.
So, talking about the state title,
Hmm.
let's be honest. I know you speak humbly, but when you got to NFA, you was the guy. We know it. You don't have to say it. You're a humbled person, but I'm gonna say it. We all knew you was the guy.
I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't the guy at first, though.
Well, you said you backed up Johnny D.
Yeah. Well, as far as being a point guard, yeah,
Yeah,
I knew. I mean, I knew I was the guy at that position. I knew I was the. I knew nobody was messing with me at that position. As far as just playing the position properly, I knew I was the guy. But
right.
the guy everybody looked at was Mike McLeod and Damon Cowser. I'm
Yeah,
saying their governments, but Pooh and Dash, everybody looked at them as the guys.
yeah. All right. Well, you came into that role.
Hmm.
You knew at some point you were going to be there, and in
Yeah.
2009, you guys won the state championship. What was the feeling of that? Because, well, even though you said there was some other stuff, but winning that accolade, what was the feeling of that?
Honestly, it was a great feeling, bro. I'm gonna be honest because everybody, even people in Newburgh, a majority of the people in Newburgh didn't think Newburgh would ever win a state title, at least not during that time. So I feel like because we won, we kind of opened it up for everybody else to have hope. And I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but we're the only team to win it. But I'm sure somebody else will win it eventually. But it was a great feeling to answer your question. It was great. It was a surreal feeling because nobody thought we would get past Mount Vernon. Shout out to Will for making that shot. But Mount Vernon was the team to beat back then, and we got by them, and we knew we basically was going to win, and it was just a surreal feeling. Like I said, it was just surreal, and it was just I was like more in shock. But yeah, it was a great feeling though, like great, surreal, all that, all in one. But if I could go back to March 22nd, 2009, 2009, I'll do it all over again.
And let me tell you, I've been in the building for one of those Newburgh Mount Vernon games, and those games were elite. I
Yeah,
I even remember traveling to Mount Vernon with some friends. We was like, "Yo, we want to see this game, but it's away." I'm like, "Let's get in the car and go." Like,
right. Yeah,
we'll split the gas. We'll get some food on the way there. Like, let's go.
let's go. Yeah,
You know, like
definitely.
like stuff like that is when you can go support your city. and see them. I mean, they lost, but the score didn't justify the game, kind of thing.
Right.
They lost by two, but
It was two, yeah, 2006 and 2007. They lost by two both years.
yeah, and it's just like, jeez. But it is what it is, right? The good
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, definitely.
So after you won that state championship, what grade were you in at that time?
I was a junior. I was in 11th grade.
Okay. What you think was the next step for you? Because if you're a junior, senior year is coming. So obviously the 11th grade is the most important year. So they say on the schedule. What did you think was the next step for you in terms of your basketball career?
So the only thing I was focusing on was, well, the two things I was focusing on was repeating, winning another state title the next year,
Okay.
and then going Division 1. Those are only two things on my mind. Um, so I just thought we was gonna have a great year the next year, and then me and my teammates were gonna be off to college and be successful in college. That was the only thing I was thinking about.
So and then what did you want to major in when you got into college?
So when I was 17, 18 years old, I wanted to go to school for communication and broadcasting. That's what I wanted to go to school for. And then when I got to college, I changed my mind and went to school for sports management. I took the easy route out because it was easy. And then when I got to my junior year, I said, let me minor in accounting because I wanted to be an accountant too. Like it interests me. And then that was just too hard. I ain't gonna lie, it was just too difficult for me. And I said, man, F this. I'm not doing this. So I just stuck with sports management. But if I could go back and do it all over again, I would have stuck it out and just worked harder in the accounting aspect. But I mean, yeah, I went to school for sports management because I just have a passion for sports, mainly basketball.
Right.
And I just wanted to be around the game the rest of my life, some way, somehow. If I wasn't going to play it, at least coach it. If I wasn't going to coach it, at least be a GM or something like that. Like I had aspirations of being working in the front office somewhere, working for an NBA team. And that's still my dream. I don't talk about it, but that's still my dream. And hopefully one day it'll happen. I mean, everything I do now is all based towards basketball. Yeah, I might work for MTA driving a bus, but who knows? One day I might be able to drive a bus driving professional basketball players around. You never know. So
Right.
it's just everything I do is for the game of basketball. Like I love the game.
Yeah. 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 And that's what it is. Like, it's the same thing with me. Like I'm a truck driver, but you never know. I'm a big wrestling fan. I might drive for WWE, carrying the ring, driving the ring to the arena. Like,
Right.
like you never know when your skill set can come in. Because even then, that job can garner you into places where you want to be. You know,
Nah, I definitely can.
hell, I'll even be a referee at that point. Like,
Yeah,
they make bread.
they do. Like
Well,
I was looking at the referee salary in the NBA, they start out at like 350 a year or something like that. Like that's something I would do too. I mean, it might be a little late now. That's something I should have got into earlier, refereeing. But yeah, it's different avenues you could take as far as doing with things that you like, as far as within your passion, within that circle. So like me, it'd be basketball. For you, it'd be wrestling. It's always different avenues to take to get in that position.
absolutely, absolutely. So when you went to St. Thomas, right?
Yes,
Did you played ball while you were there?
yes, yep. I started point guard there for 2 years.
And what's the game like different? Like how's the game different in high school and compared to the college level? Because like you know, we say not so much in basketball. I think for players to adapt to the NBA, it's a little easier. But in football, like, like when a player comes in, the players are faster. And they're just like, yo, like they're fast. They're like, well, yeah, they're grown men. You're not playing, you're not playing with like your friends anymore. You went from
Right.
playing with like the little kids to the big kids sometimes it feels like. So what was the difference in the speed of the game and the game in general, switching from high school to college?
Yeah, definitely a big difference. Big difference. So in high school, the game's a lot slower, for one. Players are not as talented as two. Players are not as athletic or as strong, like just overall athletic.
Yeah.
And in high school, I say one of the biggest differences is the physicality. So in high school, you can't be as physical. College is a physical game. I mean, yeah, you can't be physical where you clotheslining people and putting your hands on people. But as far as like you just
Pistols.
you in college, you learn how to defend with your chest. So in high school, you give somebody a bump with your chest, that's a foul. College, no, you bump them with your chest, and that's pretty much how you guard. Because like me, I'm a small guard, so somebody try to body me or something, I got to defend my ground. So
Right.
that's when I give them a little bump. Like you're just not gonna baby me. But the physicality was definitely a big difference in college. And the players in college are just that much better though, just overall athletic and overall more skilled. Like it's just night and day. Um, College was a lot harder because now I have to adjust the way I play. Because now in high school, I could get away with doing things that most people wouldn't be able to get away with because people are not as talented. But in college, think about it. I'm 5'4",
Yeah.
fast, quick, strong for my size, athletic basically. But now I have to guard somebody who's 6'4" at my position
Right.
that could do everything I could do, but they're 6'4".
Oh,
So it's a big difference. Big difference. High school, you might run into that player, but it's rare. But in college, it's consistent. It's you consistently running into players like that.
6'2", 6'4", 6'3".
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. So
and even though that's considered like on the shorter end, like
mhm,
like some I don't know, it's weird. Like people sometimes I've heard them say like 6 feet is short. I'm like a
it
six,
is.
you know,
In the basketball world, it is.
like like, and then you got a guy that's like 6'8", like McGrady, and you're like, well, that's tall. Like, you know what
Right.
I mean?
So if you notice, if you pay attention to the game of basketball, most players who are 6 foot or under, they have to stand out as something. So to give you a few players, I like Iverson. He was just a freak of nature. Like, yeah, he was skinny, but he was super athletic, super quick. Overall, he was just athletic. And
Right.
he could just score the ball. You look at Isaiah Thomas, not the old Isaiah Thomas, today's Isaiah Thomas, 5'9", but
Mm,
he's a walking bucket. He can get a bucket, and he's super strong, and he's athletic. Earl
yeah.
Boykins, 5'5", 130 pounds. He averaged 28 points per game in college at the Division I level. He was a walking bucket. Nate Robinson, freak of nature. 5'7", 5'8", he's listed at 5'9", but he's probably like 5'7", 5'8". Just a
Yeah.
freak of nature. Super strong, super athletic, super just he jumps out the gym. So all those guys you look at, they stand out as something when they're that size. Now
Right.
when you don't really see point guards 6'2" or short anymore unless they really stand out. John Morant, freak of nature.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving, 6'2", probably the most skilled player arguably we've ever seen. Steph Curry, shoot the lights out. Uh, and then who else was like 6'2"? If you look in today's game, 6'2", you really don't see no stars at 6'2". Those three, they stand out. Um, Fred Van Vliet, he's five. He might be 6 foot, 6'1". He's not the best, but he's a solid point guard. He's a good point guard. Like he has a great feel for the game. Trey Young, his passing ability is through the roof. Like his passing ability is better than his scoring ability. But he's just God given ability. So to name a few guys, yeah, they're spectacular. But yeah, for the most part, you have to be like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, I mean, I never, because I've always heard that, and it's just like you're 6'1" and you're short,
Yeah, in the
like
basketball world, that's considered short.
you
So
know.
me, I'm considered midget.
So now you, like you said, you have to adjust to figure out how to guard these larger players,
Yeah.
and it's not easy. I remember I used to I had like this team of kids I used to coach a long time ago. And it was just like I always told them when playing defense, they're like, well, what if he's bigger than me? I said, listen, I would say you try to keep, like, a lot of people want to play defense, they want to watch the ball. That ain't the right thing to watch.
Nope.
I would tell people to watch their feet. And if you watch their feet and their hips, you can kind of see which way they're gonna move. And as soon as they get to any position where it looks like they're gonna set their feet to shoot, you just get as close as you can without fouling. Put your arms up.
Hmm.
Put your arms up. And a lot of times they're like, "Oh, they miss." I'm like, "You got to stay as close as you can. 2 feet or less if you can, and just put your arms up. You put them arms up. Guess what? There's a good chance they're gonna miss. you
Yep.
know,
You put your arms up. In the basketball terminology, that's considered walling up. I mean, yeah. See, the offensive player has the advantage all the time.
all the time.
Yeah, but defense in basketball comes down to guts and just wanting it. And one thing I learned, I thought I knew a lot about basketball. I didn't know nothing until I got to college. And one thing I learned about in college is it's called help the helper. You always have help on defense.
Yeah,
So it's just so say I get beat. Now I have help side helping me. Now you have another line of defense helping the help side defense, and that's called help the helper. So you always have help, and as long as you know how to rotate properly and you just scramble and just give effort, you can make it work on a defensive end.
absolutely. Switching is important. Um, Very important when you see picks and things like that and how to come around and timing. It's like I would tell people that like 5-on-5 basketball is like organized ballet. Seriously. Like an organized ballet because there's so much going on and you really have to be precise in what you're doing. Like, okay, this is there. Because so much can happen that's not around the ball, right? Because
Yeah,
like people will be like, well, there was a foul. It happened near the ball. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. like, you
right.
know, like that's the thing. Like, you have to really be mindful of everything you're doing when you're on when you're playing any sport.
Nah, definitely, definitely. You always have to be mindful. It's just a lot of it is mental. Most of it is mental. It is
Absolutely.
mental, and like in basketball, when you like the most important thing when you're on defense, the most important thing is the ball, right? So they teach you always keep your head on a swivel. Like if you're in help defense, you always have to just see your man and ball at all times, right? Because the ball is way over there. Like say your man is in the corner, the right side corner, and the ball's on the left wing. In college, you're standing underneath the basket in midline help, watching man and ball. You're watching the ball because the ball is the most important thing. And you're
Right.
watching your man, you're paying attention to both. Your head is on a swivel like this because now if your man cuts or he moves, you have to be able to know where he's at. So that's why it's important to keep your head on the swivel and pay attention.
Right.
So I'm telling you, I didn't know none of that until I got to college.
That's when you started like saying, okay, not
Yeah,
like now I'm starting to get this.
yeah, exactly. So that's why when I play today, like I'm very selective. I'm very picky in who I play the game of basketball with because everybody don't really know the game. And like I could have an argument with somebody on the court. I'm telling them one thing, they're telling me the next, but little like they don't understand where I'm coming from. They just don't they just don't know. And it's no knock to them, but they haven't played in enough games at a high level to really know these things.
Right.
So that's why when I do get into arguments and stuff on Facebook debates, people look at me like, "Yo, you're crazy. What you're saying makes no sense." But in reality, it makes a lot of sense. But only a basketball person would really understand where I come from.
Well, it's just like the terminology you use.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big basketball fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because I haven't played the game outside of, like just
Right.
street basketball, I haven't played organized basketball.
Yeah.
Those aren't the things that someone like me would know.
Right.
That's not the things anyone would really know if they haven't played organized basketball.
That's true. But you don't get it twisted. Like there's people out here who never played organized basketball a day in their life, but they know a lot about the game. They know a lot about the terminology. They just know it
Yeah,
because they was probably raised around the game, and like their mother or father could have been a former player, or or not for none, they could have just been around the game and they just wasn't coordinated enough to put it all together and play it. But they know the game. I know a few people that's like that know a lot about the game, but they just couldn't put it together as a player. They just weren't good enough.
and that happens.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
So I don't know much. I'm going to put this on the screen. I don't know much about this league here that you're in,
Uh-huh.
where you've won an MVP award and a championship of sort. Uh,
Yeah.
so tell me what about this league. Your shirt says Coliseum Depot.
So basically, that right there, that's more so for my job. So I work for MTA, so that's more like a transit little tournament that somebody from transit they throw a tournament together probably twice, two or three times a year, and it just gives us workers something to do. So I play in that, and I'm pretty much the best player there. You have a few players who actually are good. So the championship game, there was another guard on the other team. Shout out to my boy Davon, that's his name. He's solid. He's solid. He's tough, and that game I actually had to go hard. But that's just a little league that somebody puts together, and then we just all play just for the fun.
And that's real good things to have, because so the world today, a lot of these jobs, they don't want to do nothing for people. They don't
No.
want to take care of people. My job right now, we're in the midst of negotiations for our contract, and it ain't going good. And
Oh man.
yeah, it's not going good at all. And now we got to make a big decision on whether we're gonna go on strike or not.
Oh man.
Yeah, right before holidays and things of that nature. So even, I mean, they do events and stuff, but it's just like they collectively will spend $100,000 on parties, but then they don't want to give us a raise. Keep your party, keep your
Of course
food,
not.
keep all that. Give me a raise.
I did definitely.
You know, like, be that as it may. So it just got a couple more questions here.
Yeah, you good.
What strategies do you use to improve your performance or your game?
So for me personally, being that I don't play like I used to every day, so when I know something is coming up, something I do to prepare is I try to like get in shape as far as get my wind up. So I do a lot more cardio exercises. And I'll make sure I always stretch regardless. Like even if like nothing's coming up, when I'm always in the gym, I stretch every day. Every day I work out,
Right.
I stretch. That's why I'm still able to move fast. I'm still quick, all that because I stretch. I take care of my body. But yeah, I just get my wind up. Uh and then A lot of the times now it's just mental. So I just use my brain a lot and just use that to my advantage. Because a lot of it, like I said, a lot of it is mental. So as long as I can have some type of cardio, some type of win, and I got the mental advantage, I'm good.
Yeah. And does that include? I seen a video you posted a couple days ago. You were in the gym and you were going back and forth, just
Yeah.
shooting, and and it's wild because it's just to have still have that precision. You haven't missed a beat, that's for sure. You know, does that is that kind of like a cardio type of workout? Doing that back and forth and just you set shoot boom, set shoot boom, set shoot boom, but it just looks so easy for you.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, that is a little bit of cardio. That was just more so just I was just getting reps up. You know, you don't have a rebounder, so you just gotta jog, get the rebound, and just go jog to the next spot back and forth. And I just wanted to just do that just to get a little bit of cardio and shooting while you're tired and all that stuff. And a lot of it when it comes to shooting, if as long as you get your legs underneath your shot and you follow through, and so as long as you have your base, as long as you use your legs,
Mhm.
you follow through, and you're not leaning. As long as your body is squared up, that's pretty much what makes a good shooter. Um, that's what people don't really be understanding sometimes. Like shooting, it's all about balance and technique. And when you're tired, that's when the mental comes in because now you have to. All right, that's fine. Now you have to use your brain and be like, all right, lock in, stay straight, stay square. So it's little things like that.
Yeah, it's always like that, and I've always felt also a key element is like when I used to play pretty regularly, and I
Hmm.
was always trying to just, even if it was just playing like recreationally,
Right.
I was practice shooting, and people don't understand how important it is to release at the top of the jump. Like
Hmm.
get up to the top, and you ain't going no higher. That's you start coming down, and the timing's off, and then you're worried about hitting the ground before you let the ball go.
Right.
Releasing at the top of the jump is
Yeah.
very important.
So when it comes to shooting, uh, for me personally, is you don't want to shoot on the way down like you said, and if you could shoot while you're on your way up, that works a lot with people. And sometimes if you shoot while you're at the top at your peak, that helps for people. Everyone's a little different. It depends on your shooting form, but yeah, just don't shoot on the coming on the way down because that's when
Never,
you're gonna be missing.
never. So even though you say you don't play as much as you used to, I
Hmm.
guess I have to kind of change this question. How do you stay motivated to still have, like, you don't have the time, you said,
Hmm.
but how do you still stay motivated to play the game when you have to play it or when you want to go out and play it if you do have free time, or just keep that love, that fire, that desire for the game alive?
So my motivation is just the love for the game. That's enough motivation. That's all the motivation I need. But little things that motivate me is like people talking negative, or people even talking positive, saying, "Yo, you're really good," like stuff like all that stuff. Like it motivates me. It helps me stay sharp. It keeps me in shape. That's why I go to the gym because like I don't want to be that person. Say I don't touch a ball in a month. Now it's like, oh, you so tired. No, I'm always in the gym. I'm always doing some type of basketball workout that has to do with cardio and stuff like that or weight training. It's all basketball related. So
Right.
my body is always going to be in shape to play the game that I love to play because I don't want to step on the court and get hurt. That's the most important thing. So stretching, mobility exercises, all that stuff is important to me, and that's key. But yeah, what motivates me is just this my love though. That's the main motivation. Just my love for the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you love things, you do anything to keep them close to your heart, keep that passion alive for them. What would you say is your defining moment of your career?
That's a good question. I'm me personally. I'm gonna say meeting Bobby Hurley Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, meeting Bobby Hurley Jr. He came to my house because they was recruiting me, so he came to my house and just to have a relationship with him at the time, it meant everything to me. Somebody who played in the NBA, who was an NCAA's all-time assist leader, two national championships with Duke. So it's just like that probably was the highlight of my basketball career, just meeting him and being able to talk to him, and him actually like taking notice to who I am as a player and giving me my respects.
Yeah, anytime you can meet someone credible and they give you, give you your flowers,
Mm,
because like I said, you're one of the best players I've ever witnessed with my own eyes. Just the way you take the game and just the reality, like you're always zoned in when you're playing. And and that's something that means a lot because a lot of these players these days they don't take it serious or serious enough. They just think they can just nonchalantly go through it, right? Without
yeah,
putting in the work. It's like, and I think that's anything for anyone. They want to get here, right? But you gotta take the steps to get there. They
right,
don't want to take those steps. They just want to be here. Just want to
right.
get just want to be there. No work. And for this, doing those workouts, doing that cardio, doing the practices, doing the drills. Oh, speaking of practices, I have to ask. I have to ask, how bad is it really doing suicides?
Suicides are light. I mean, if you're somebody who's in shape, it's not hard at all. Don't get me wrong, it's not easy, but
It's not fun either.
but it's not something where it's like the end of the world. Like, yo, I'm like, nah. It's if you're in shape for it, you'll be all right. You just have to be in shape. And that's why it's important to be in shape. Because if you're in shape, all that stuff is easier for you than this for the next person. But like I said, it's not easy. Like it's never gonna be something's never gonna be easy when you have to run, you have to do something in like 30 seconds and then you only get a 20-second break just to do it again. So that's not easy. But if you're mentally strong and you're in some type of shape, you'll get through it with no problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 'Cause you always hear nightmares about suicides. Like,
Yeah,
I,
because you hear it, the name is called suicides. Like
yeah, it's just like, you know, one of my favorite movies of all time is Coach Carter.
mm,
So,
hmm
when you seen what he was doing to them boys with them suicides,
yeah.
you like, I don't ever want to do that.
Now
But he,
that's a different type of. Now I never did nothing like that. I might have did like 20, like in 20 minutes in the time frame, but nah, no. What he was doing, 1,000 suicides, 500 push-ups. Yeah, yeah. Fuck out of here. Excuse my language. Nah,
you good, bro? You good?
I wouldn't have did that either.
You're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm all the way good off that. That's just dumb to me. I'm
Yeah.
just being honest.
And you're just like, but honestly, he taught them the value of teamwork,
Yes,
taught
he
them
did.
the value of respect. That movie teaches a lot. And it's a movie that people need to watch today because a lot of those things he taught those young men aren't taught. Same thing with Remember the Titans.
Oh
Still a
yeah,
still a movie. Every time it comes up, I tell people you need to watch this movie.
yeah.
It's
That's a great movie.
society just can't handle it.
Nah, yeah, definitely. That's a great movie. Shout out to Denzel. He played that role good.
Absolutely.
and didn't get an Oscar for it. But
No,
that's a topic for another time.
yeah, but got an Oscar for Training Day because he had.
Yeah, right. Playing a. Let me shut up.
Yeah, yeah. See, you already know. You ain't even gotta say it because I'm on the same wavelength.
Yeah, he get an Oscar for doing that, but don't get an Oscar for doing being a positive role model in a movie. But get a. Let me shut up. Let me shut up. Don't get me started.
Exactly. So, what is your biggest achievement on the court?
My biggest achievement on the court, honestly, I gotta say, winning the state title and getting and winning the MVP. I feel like I did that for my city, and then also playing in the Jordan Brand Classic at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, okay. I didn't come across that. What was that like?
That was great, man. It was a great experience. Um, it was fun. Got to play against the best of the best. Most importantly, playing at the Garden. A lot of people can't say they did that.
Hell no.
It was a great experience. I could say I had a lot of fun doing it.
Wow. So what was it like, a tournament or just a
No,
game?
so it was a all-star game.
Oh wow.
So
So
you have the All American game with all the top players in the country. Then you have the regional game, the one I played in, and then you have the international game. Um, the All American game, that's players like Kyrie. Like so, my class is Kyrie, Tobias Harris. That's my class. All of them played in the game, and then I played in the game with all the best players in the region: New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut area. And I
wow.
was selected to play in a game with the best players in the region. And another player that played in the regional game, Donovan Mitchell. Now he's a freaking $100 million man. 150 million, yeah, $150 million man. And he played in the regional game. He didn't play in the All American game. Playing the same game I played in
Wow.
2013, I think it was.
And you just never know.
Yeah, you never know.
So do you have any other aspirations, whether it be in the league or out of the league,
hmm
just just life aspirations going forward or right now in general?
I mean, right now I'm just, you know me. I just love the game. So eh, my biggest thing in life is just to be financially set, be mentally happy, mentally stable, and just continue to chase my dreams. And my dreams is always going to be something that involves basketball. Like I said, everything I do, it has to do with basketball. My current job, if I decide to leave that job and get another job, everything is going to relate to basketball some way, somehow.
Yeah, yeah, and it has to,
hmm
it's sad because there's people like you who know so much and don't have any kind of connection to the NBA. But I have a friend whose cousin works in the office of the NBA in
Okay,
New York City.
that's dope.
Absolutely. Brother still ain't gotten me no tickets yet, but we ain't gonna go there. We
I
ain't gonna
mean,
go
I
there.
know. I mean, I have a few connections, but it's not no connection that's gonna like change my life like instantly.
Right. Right. And I said, I tell him all the time, I'm like, yo, your cousin can't get us some Knicks tickets, man. Like, dang, just, like to feel that energy. I ain't no Knicks fan, but like, come on.
Yeah, nah, definitely.
He's like, I can't even get them. So, but the point I was making was someone like you who knows so much, and then
hmm
like she works in the office, and he told me this one day Carmelo Anthony comes in there, and he goes, hi. This was before Adam Silver was the
The
commissioner.
commissioner, right?
He goes in there and goes, hi, I got a meeting with Mr. Stern. She turned to him and said, oh, who are you? I'm like, what?
You
He's
know,
like,
that's mad funny.
he's like, yeah, Carmelo Anthony. She didn't know who he was. Uh, Dwayne Wade. She didn't know who he was.
That's funny.
She was like, she knew Kobe, LeBron. That's it.
That's mad funny. How you not know who they are?
Eh. So you said you've never tuned in, which is okay. But I end every show with a positive ending message. and that's where you just say anything that's positive and uplifting to anyone who's watching or who may watch this back. The floor is yours.
I mean, so the first thing I'm gonna say is no matter what it is that you love, like I said earlier, chase what it is, perfect that and master your craft, but to add to that, just stay positive. People go through things. Just remember, like, if you're in a sad situation or a depressing situation, just always remember somebody's going through something worse and you can always get through it. It's all mind over matter. As long as you put the work in, you can achieve anything you want. People, I know a few stories about homeless people becoming multimillionaires. So it's literally possible. Anything's possible. And you get what you put in, and just stay positive, man. And that's really all I could really say. Just stay positive. Anything's possible. Dream big. Dream big. Don't dream small. Dream big, and chase that dream. And if you don't accomplish that dream, chase that dream. Die trying.
Listen, you can't go wrong with that. Well, I appreciate you coming on and having a conversation. It was good to catch
Definitely.
up. We got to definitely keep in touch and definitely link. You know,
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
so hard, with schedules, and we start adulting. It's just even hard. I have certain friends now. I just do a weekly check in with them just to make sure they,
Right.
even something like, "Hey, how you doing? Like, I didn't hear from you. Haven't heard from you." Something like that. You just got to start somewhere.
Nah, definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah, so I appreciate you. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in. This is the first episode from StreamYard. We aired on Facebook, we aired on Instagram and YouTube all at the same time. So,
Good, good. That's dope. Man,
so
keep it going. Keep it
I
going, man. Proud of you. Just
appreciate
keep doing what you're doing. It's gonna eventually grow. And then next time, hopefully 5 years from now, I could be somewhere where I want to be. And I could be back here on here talking about my journey from now to then.
listen, I'm hoping to have a studio by then and a production team. You know,
Definitely.
I see it. I see it. I'm going to achieve it. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and for all the support. There'll be more videos. The merchandise is coming as soon as I can get the money together to do it, to sell it. And next week, I will be back here. I'm supposed to have 2 episodes next week, but I can tell you for sure I'll have Terrence Lamar on here next Thursday at 8 p.m. Nerd Camp Sports will be on Monday. Everyone have a good night. We'll see you soon.
All right, bro.
Peace.